It is almost the second fortnight of the year, and that means that it's time to budget paychecks 3 and 4. Hello, and welcome to my channel on budget planning, debt payoff, and life in general. My name is Erin, and I am on a debt-free journey to pay $43,000 of consumer debt in 1 year. Today, I am walking through our paychecks 3 and 4 for the second fortnight in January. We budget from Wednesday to Tuesday to coincide with our weekly and fortnightly pay and also expenses. As always, timestamps are in the description box. And without further ado, let's get started. So I was really excited this week because my Happy Planner showed up. And if you had asked me even a year ago when I started watching a bit more videos around budgeting and all the people with their planners and their stickers and everything they were doing, if I would ever be one of those people, I would have given you an emphatic heck no. But the more that I watched and the more that I saw how contained a lot of them were, I wouldn't have papers all over the place. This year, I finally bit the bullet and ordered one. But it did arrive a bit late because it came from Sydney, and Sydney was in lockdown. So I got the dog lover because I am a dog lover. And I also have the hole punch. So that allows me to make my own worksheets, so to speak. So I just print off my Budget Mom sheets at a smaller scale, so at a smaller percentage, cut them, hole punch them, put them in, and I'm really happy with how it is starting to turn out. We'll see how consistent I stay with it throughout the month, but I really am much happier than I thought I would be for getting that. So we are going to take these 2 pages. And so similar, just as we did last week, we are going to have 2 paychecks across 2 weeks. So we'll have 2 of our paychecks on the 15th and then another one on the 22nd. So again, we are going to be covering our income, our expenses. So these are essentially considered fixed expenses. They don't change from month to month. Our cash and digital envelopes. These are our variable expenses, sinking and saving funds, and extra debt. This first part of the year, we're really targeting our credit card debt. We got to pay off a pretty good chunk of it just last week. We're doing transfers on that every Thursday, calling it Transfer Thursday. And last week we paid over $2,000 additional to that credit card, and that came to about paying about 17% of what is owed. So really happy with how things are going there. So I'm going to go ahead and just quick fill some of these items in, and then I'll come back and just point out if there's anything new or anything unique that is going on. So not too much in terms of changes, either in our pay or in any of our bills or sinking funds. As I said, our pay is very consistent. So we're going to have a total income for these next 2 weeks, or for this paycheck, of $4,243. Making all of the same payments. A lot of our bills are on weekly payments. So again, the pool, internet, and cable, this is one that is only paid once a month. Mortgage and loan are paid weekly. Health insurance is paid weekly. Again, pool is weekly. Vehicle insurance is once a month. Mobile phone is once a month, and loan is, again, weekly. And one thing we learned this in the first week of January is with our private health cover. And apparently there was a mistake in that they didn't apply our date of citizenship. And so I was actually being charged at a higher rate. My husband was being charged the proper rate, but I was being charged a higher rate for our private health cover. And we got that sorted, and that has resulted in about 17 weeks of back pay that we overpaid, that we don't have to pay now. And apparently that had come into effect in part of November and December. It'll go through all of January and then also February, but I'm still going to keep it in the budget just because when it does come back in, I want to have that habit of looking at it and having that there. But at this point, I know most likely that's going to end up over at extra debt. So it was nice of them to rectify their mistake. It would be nice if they paid interest on what I overpaid, but not going to make too much of a fuss. Have a total amount of bills of $1,417. So again, this is for our fixed expenses with $2,826 left over. For our variable expenses, so things that will change by month to month, $350 for groceries. Groceries are pulled out weekly. The other $150 for the dogs. So they got $150 in the first set of paychecks and then another $150 here. Same with fuel, $250, and transport, $171. We do not budget by month per se. We budget by fortnight. So I don't go through and do any calculations of there's an additional month, there's an additional week in this month, I need to save this amount of money to put that aside to cover it. I just do it by fortnight. Everything gets paid, everything gets calculated in. I know exactly where we are going. So for variable, a total of $921, leaving $1,905 left over, making all of our fortnightly contributions to our sinking funds will be $756, and that's going to leave us $1,149 left over and extra to pay towards debt. And the contractual amount for the credit card was paid the first day of the month. That's when it's usually due, around the 3rd or between the 3rd and the 5th. I just paid on the 1st. And so this time around from this paycheck, we're going to have $1,149 left over. And all of that is going to go to the credit card. I'm not going to carry anything else over because the goal really is to get that knocked out and then get moved over to the loan. And after crunching the numbers and looking at the amortized schedule, it is realistic and it is doable to actually pay off all of our debt this year. So that is what we are going to aim for. I had been thinking I would start getting some of these smaller sinking funds filled up. And then when I saw that we would only have less than $2,000 come the end of the year to take care of all of our debt, I went, okay, we're focusing there. We're laser focusing in. So that gives us a zero-based budget for this paycheck technically number 3 for the month, on the 15th of January. Then we are going to repeat for our paycheck on the 22nd of January. And this is because my husband receives his paycheck right now. He receives it weekly. It is going to change to fortnight. And again, because we're using a zero-based budget, what we're aiming for is for zero down here at the bottom, which we did achieve. So our income total for the week of the 22nd will actually be the 20th. So for the 20th of January, is going to be $1,065. Just 2 expenses that are coming out for a total of $450. Groceries again, pulled out cash on the weekly, $350, nothing going to our sinking funds. So that gives us all of our $265 to put towards the credit card. And no, it is not as high as what it was in week 2. That amount was $1,149 and then $265. So that's going to be a minimum of an additional $1,414 that we are paying towards this debt in January. We will see these 2 weeks how we go with groceries because we normally use cash, but as I said, we are in lockdown and our lockdowns started, this is a hard lockdown, everything. So they announced it Friday morning. It went into effect at 6 p.m. on Friday evening. And I happened to just be getting ready to head to the grocery store as well because on Monday I have a lot of doctor's appointments. I wasn't going to have time to do the shop. I don't really like shopping on the weekends. So I had just gotten to the grocery store when they made the announcement. And when we go into hard lockdown, this is Queensland's first time, but we follow the same procedures that they imposed in Melbourne and Sydney, very similar to what they did in New Zealand. So nothing but essential workers, nobody outside of your house except for exercise. If you are outside of your house, you must wear your mask. Even if you are in your car, you must wear your mask. So you have to wear your mask from point to point. It's not until you actually get inside of a, for some buildings you can take it off, but most buildings you have to leave it on. And others like that. And if it extends a bit longer, we will probably have to switch to paying groceries just by debit card because they prefer that you pay by debit card or credit instead of paying by cash, and that's easy enough to make that adjustment. But otherwise, not too many changes in terms of the budget for this month. And looking at our handy dandy calendar, and I am going to have this calendar and I'm going to put it into my planner, but I'm just waiting for stickers to arrive. And again, these are things that I said I most likely would never do, and here I am doing them. So I draw the line at opening an Etsy shop. Oops, that one's not. We'll recolor that. So the pool, the vehicles, and the mobile. And I just realized all of these should actually be over one, but I'm not going to get too fussed over it because mistakes happen, and all of this is just a learning process. So paycheck number 2, that one will be this payday. Cash, health insurance, mortgage. And this will also be the loan. Fabulous. So you see that also we will have one additional week when we get to the end. So this I consider week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. This will be week 5. The way that our pay works, the way that our debits out of our accounts work, everything goes fortnight. So restarting and trying to budget from the first to the last day of the month just isn't going to work for us. Pretty straightforward. I said really enjoying using this particular budgeting method, making heaps of mistakes along the way. I'm so glad that I have an Excel sheet that I have set up. So when I realize that I have underestimated or forgotten something, I can go back in, I can make those changes, and it makes all the changes to the budget for me. And then I can make the tweaks, because otherwise I would be going through paper after paper after paper each time. And I can see where that would be frustrating people and where people might give up at that point and stop. So the next element with this is to get through the week. I have posted up our first weekly check-in. That was for week number 1. Week number 2, the week that was there, that will be up soon. So to see how we go during this lockdown period, if we go into an extension or anything like that. I'm not too overly fussed about things. Right now, it was only over a weekend, not too much of an imposition, I don't think. My doctors are all still open, so I can still go to my appointments, so everything is good there. But if it carries on, there's probably going to be some more implications for that. And we will see. I don't know. Have any of you, where you are at, have you been through a hard lockdown, or have you really just had restrictions imposed upon you people in your city or people in your town or people in your state? Or has it been pretty much open for business the entire time? Really curious to know. So if you want, pop that down in the comments below. And also, if you watched for this long, which, thank you. I'm trying to get these shorter, but right now they're coming out a bit on the longer side. But if you have stuck around this long and you don't have a coronavirus story to share or lockdown, just comment Bob in the comments. Why not? So that is it. Again, as we get through each week on this, we will do another quick check-in, and of course, everything will get closed out and reconciled at the end of the month. So if you are enjoying or are intrigued by this journey, I would love to have you follow along. So don't hesitate to give this video a like and subscribe. If you want, drop a few words of encouragement in the comment box and anything else that comes to mind if it does. As always, choose kindness, show gratitude, and keep a positive mindset. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.